Right, Police Commissioner Khehla Sitole leaves office today. Sitole's departure was announced last month after uncertainty about his future. The presidency said at the time that mutual agreement for early termination was in the interest of the country. It's not yet clear who his successor will be, and eNCA senior reporter Aviwe Mtila joins us now to unpack it further for us. Aviwe, first of all, let's talk about the fact that there are people who believe that it should have been as public as the interviews for the Chief Justice. Of course, I'm talking about the position of National Commissioner.
Yes, the precedent set by President Cyril Ramaphosa. So a lot of criticism has come in, Maseko, in terms of the transparency of appointing the National Police Commissioner. You remember that the SARS Commissioner was appointed in a transparent manner, as well as the Chief Justice, in terms of the appointment and all those interviews that happened in a public platform. This time around, there's a lot of secrecy we understand about it. Even sources telling me this very moment that the policing unions are being briefed, talked to by members of the presidency, as well as the police minister himself, Khehla, in terms of who possibly will be the successor. We're expecting that announcement soon, I'm told, some of the sources mentioning that it might just happen tomorrow in an official handover, given how the mutual agreement was reached. But of course, there is criticism in terms of how that process has been done, as today is the last day for the Police General Khehla Sitole. This is in fact his office, where he's not currently in at the moment. Even the writing is on the wall. If you were to go in there, you'd see one picture missing from those official pictures as you walk in. The official picture of the president, the minister of the police, Khehla, as well as the deputy police commissioner. But the police commissioner's picture is not inside here, as it is, of course, the last day, just 8 months shy of when he was supposed to finish his tenure as a police commissioner. Some of those conversations that we've been having in the course of the day is with Corruption Watch, that has criticized this process of appointing the police commissioner. Let's take a listen to Kavisha Pillay.
It is very unfortunate that President Ramaphosa is acting against his own precedents that he had set when, reviewing and doing appointments differently. And, for example, the appointment of the National Director of Public Prosecutions, or the appointment of the SARS Commissioner, even the recent appointment of the JSC appointments, the Chief Justice appointments. The President has taken initiatives to ensure that those processes were open, that they were transparent, that they were forms of public participation. So it's concerning, and it's definitely really disappointing that in the National Police Commissioner, which one can argue is as important as those other appointments that the President had made, he's not following a precedent in process that he himself had set. And the police serve an important function in our country, and they've been riddled with bad leadership, with corruption, with misconduct, and they need a leader that is going to be ethical, someone whose integrity is beyond reproach, and someone that the public actually feels confidence in, and that the police service themselves, those who work in the police service, also feel confident in. So this process that's happening behind closed doors is not okay. It's not okay for the purposes of transparency. It's not okay from the perspective of just following good appointment proceedings. And I think it's really disappointing that the President could have done better in this regard.
All right, Aviwe, so we know that Khehla Sitole's last day is today, but we don't know, of course, who's going to take over from him. So what do experts tell you about his tenure? Are they giving him a 10 out of 10?
Certainly not. Maseko is one that's made numerous headlines over his 4-year tenure as a police commissioner. Remember that he's supposed to end his tenure officially in November. But of course, this is adding on to the number of police commissioners that haven't completed their tenures. He himself, Khehla Sitole, has made numerous headlines, even in terms of some suggesting that he's been quite factional, deeply rooted in the politics of the ANC. Even the courts actually finding that earlier on this year, on the 13th of January, I understand, Gauteng High Court suggesting that he and his two deputies served better for the interests of the ANC rather than the interests of the country. Of course, this dates back just a month in office when he came in as a police commissioner back in 2017, around that controversial 45 million police, those cell phone grabbers, that issue ahead of that Nasrec conference. So there has been those fingers pointed towards him in terms of being factional. Even the recent July unrest that we've seen there, where he was called out for being caught snapping, and the divisions, continuous divisions between him and the police minister, Khehla. It's actually an issue that I caught up with the Institute of Security Studies, Dr. Johan Berger. This is what he had to say just on Khehla Sitole's tenure.
I would not give him a very good rating. I think the facts shows that he was not an inspirational leader. He was not an operational leader of the police service. My information is that the police are left with more than 100 strategies that is left behind. So he was a strategic thinker, and his solution to every problem was to develop a strategy for that. It's impossible to implement all that number of strategies. And of course, as far as the KwaZulu-Natal situation is concerned, it is an unacceptable excuse for him to say he's run this from his office and operations room at his office, while one would have expected him, given the fact that the crucial part of the violence was happening in KwaZulu-Natal, and the police were then blamed for not being able to bring the situation under control, that he should go there in person to provide direct operational leadership, which he failed to do. So given all of that, and of course the court judgment and his attempts at trying to block the investigation into what really happened there, all of that I think works against him and does not provide us with a positive assessment of the kind of leader that he was.
All right, senior reporter Aviwe Mtila in Johannesburg. Let's leave it there for now.